Welcome back to the Deep Dive. West Virginia has this official slogan, wild and wonderful. It sounds idyllic, right?
It does. Paints a picture of beautiful mountains, lots of nature.
But underneath that scenic surface, there's this incredibly intense history. A history often marked by, well, profound tragedy concentrated in specific places.
Exactly. And we've been looking into all of the official historical sites, but also the abandoned prisons, the old asylums, even the cryptid legends. It all kind of weaves together into the state's paranormal trail.
So our mission today, for you listening, is to kind of give you a thematic shortcut. We want to look at the types of tragedy, the specific kinds of intense suffering that have, stained West Virginia's past.
And see how the specific traumas seem to have birthed these really famous specific legends. We're talking Civil War echoes, institutional despair, even like weird extraterrestrial stuff.
We're connecting the dots, essentially, linking the suffering to the spirits.
And what's really striking is how the places with the most concentrated misery, the kind that builds up over decades behind locked doors, those seem to produce the most defined, intelligent-seeming spirits. Like the institutions themselves are monuments to suffering.
Yeah, that makes sense, which is actually a great place to start with the weight of these massive abandoned institutions. Let's begin with the West Virginia Penitentiary in Moundsville.
Oh, yeah, Moundsville. That place is imposing, a real Gothic fortress.
It operated for a long time, 1875 right up to 1995, and its history is just brutal. Riots, fires, over 100 executions.
Many of them using Old Sparky, their electric chair. Grim nickname.
Right, and the sources we looked at definitely suggest that this constant, overwhelming violence created some powerful presences.
For sure. Visitors, staff, they consistently report seeing the Shadow Man. He's described as this tall, dark figure.
Often seen in the area where inmates died alone in their cells.
Exactly. Believed to be one of those restless souls. But the violence wasn't just from the system, was it?
No, absolutely not. A lot of it was inmate on inmate brutality.
Which might explain the other really specific figure they report there, the Faceless Man.
Ugh, that sounds chilling.
Yeah, the story goes he was an inmate who was just savagely beaten to death by others. His missing features are said to symbolize that final violence, that complete dehumanization he suffered.
It's like decades of pain focused in one spot, etching these tormented figures into the very stone.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift to a different kind of institutional failure. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Weston.
Another massive Gothic stone building. Its story is just as tragic, but maybe more from neglect and severe overcrowding than outright executions like Moundsville.
It was finished around 1858, but construction paused during the Civil War, right? And the grounds were actually used as a Union camp.
That's right, adds another layer. But the real institutional tragedy kicked in later. It was originally designed for about 250 patients.
Okay, 250. That sounds reasonable for the time, maybe.
Well, by the 1950s, it was housing close to 2,400 people.
Wow. 2,400 in a space for 250.
Yeah. You can imagine the conditions. Just awful. It finally closed in 94. And that residual energy, that sheer weight of suffering from overcrowding and neglect, it's palpable.
People report hearing things.
Oh, yeah. Blood-curdling screams, doors slamming shut on their own, echoing down those long, empty halls. It sounds terrifying.
And unlike the penitentiary, which seems haunted by, vengeful male figures, the asylum hauntings often focus on the most vulnerable.
Exactly. Like Lily. She's probably one of the most well-known spirits there.
A little girl.
Yeah, a little girl who died in the asylum when she was only 9. People leave toys for her, and sometimes they report seeing the toys move on their own, or they hear tiny footsteps.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It is. The sheer volume of loss. There are children, people with mental illnesses who were just neglected. It means the place holds on to these multiple, very specific individual tragedies.
We should probably briefly mention Sweet Springs Sanitarium, too. It shows how these places evolve, right?
Good point. Sweet Springs has a really layered history. It actually started way back in 1792 as a fancy resort. George Washington supposedly stayed there.
So quite a different beginning.
Completely. But then it went through various phases, and one particularly tragic one was from 1942 to 45, when it was a sanitarium for tuberculosis patients.
Ah, so you have this potential mix. Maybe some restless spirits from the wealthy resort days overlaid with the thousands who likely died slow, lonely deaths from TB.
Exactly. It's like conflicting eras of suffering haunting the same space.
Okay, so if these institutions, with their long-term suffering, create these defined individual spirits like the Shadow Man or Lily, What about sudden widespread violence, like a battlefield?
That brings us neatly into our second category. The echoes of historical violence, especially the Civil War, it's a different kind of energy, more residual, maybe?
Like in Lewisburg, it's often called a paranormal hotspot.
Right. And the old stone church there is a prime example. During the war, it was turned into a makeshift hospital.
And people still hear things.
Apparently, yes. Visitors report hearing faint moans, cries of soldiers, especially late at night. It's like an audio loop of that trauma just imprinted on the location itself.
That idea of residual energy seems really strong in Harper's Ferry, too. Strategic town right at the confluence of two rivers.
Absolutely. A key spot during the war. And the hauntings reflect that military past. People report hearing phantom fife and drum music.
Accompanying invisible soldiers.
Yeah, like a phantom army marching through the streets. Even St. Peter's Catholic Church, which was also used as a hospital, supposedly has the ghost of a priest still tending to spectral wounded.
Wow. Then you get the more visual sightings, right? Like a Droop Mountain battlefield, site of the last big Civil War battle in the state, late 1863.
Droop Mountain seems to offer the whole spectral show. You get the sounds, galloping horses, but also visual apparitions.
A headless soldier?
A headless Confederate soldier, yes. But also, interestingly, a much calmer sighting, another soldier just seen peacefully napping against a tree.
So it reflects both the shock of battle and maybe the quiet moments of death, too.
Yeah, it suggests the variety of experiences captured there, the sudden trauma and maybe the more personal, quiet end.
Okay, moving from the widespread violence of war to something incredibly specific and legally bizarre. We have to talk about the Greenbrier Ghost, Zona Heastershoe.
Ah, Zona. Arguably West Virginia's most famous spirit. And this isn't just residual energy. This is like purposeful haunting, a ghost seeking justice.
Tell us the story. It's wild. It dates back to 1897, right?
It does. Zona was found dead, initially ruled as everlasting faint, basically natural causes. But her husband, Erasmus Shue, acted really suspiciously.
How so?
Well, he was very controlling about the body. He dressed her himself, put this high-neck dress and a veil on her, was really insistent that nobody get too close, especially around her head and neck.
Yeah.
Red flags, right?
Definitely, especially for the time.
So Zona's mother, Mary Heaster, she just felt something was deeply wrong.
And then things got really strange.
Unbelievably strange. Mary claimed Zona's ghost appeared to her, not just once, but over 4 nights.
Appearing to her own mother.
Yes. And the ghost apparently told her mother exactly what happened, that Erasmus had gotten angry because she hadn't cooked meat for dinner, and that he'd attacked her, violently breaking her neck and strangling her.
That sounds like something out of folklore, but Mary believed it.
She was absolutely convinced, so much so that she went to the local prosecutor and kept pushing and pushing until they agreed to exhume Zona's body.
Which they actually did, based on the mother's claim about a ghost.
Astonishingly, yes. And the second autopsy proved the ghost right. Zona's neck had been broken, signs of strangulation, exactly as the spirit testimony described.
And this led to the husband's conviction.
It did. Erasmus Shue was tried and convicted of murder. And here's the kicker.
This is the truly mind-bending part.
Right. This is apparently the only known case in U.S. legal history where testimony said to have come from a ghost was allowed in court and actually contributed to a murder conviction.
And West Virginia owns this story now, right? There's a historical marker.
There is. Dedicated to the Greenbrier Ghost. It really makes you wonder, what level of injustice does it take for a spirit to cross back over and demand justice so forcefully?
Okay, deep breath. Let's move into our third category. This one feels like a mix of cursed land, frontier violence, and these really personal, nagging, unsolved mysteries. Lake Shawnee Amusement Park comes to mind.
Lake Shawnee is such a layered haunting site. It starts way back late 1700s. There was a bloody clash between a settler family, the Clays, and Shawnee Indians. Several people died, including 3 of the Clay children.
And the story goes this cursed the land.
That's the legend. And then, fast forward to the 1920s, someone decides to build an amusement park right on top of this tragic site.
Not the best idea, maybe.
Probably not. The park did have several fatal accidents. A little girl died on the swing set. Another child drowned in the swimming area. It eventually closed down for good in 1966.
And the ghosts reflect both layers of tragedy.
They really seem to. People report seeing apparitions near the old, rusted rides, specifically a man and a little girl in a pink dress, likely linked to the amusement park deaths.
But the older history's there too.
It is. Excavations on the site actually uncovered Native American bones and artifacts, confirming it was built directly over burial grounds connected to that original frontier clash. It's like the land itself remembers.
Wow. Okay, from cursed land to a very specific, localized tragedy. The murder of Mamie Thurman.
Ah, Mamie. She was known as a carefree flapper back in the Prohibition era, Logan County. Found murdered in 1932 on this remote road, 22 Mine Road.
And there was suspicion about who really did it.
Oh, yeah. A local handyman was charged and convicted, but the rumors always swirled that her lover, who was a prominent married banker, was the actual killer and the handyman was just a scapegoat.
So unresolved justice. And her death still haunts the area.
It seems so. Adding to the mystery, Mamie's body apparently disappeared from records. No official burial site known. Her spirit is said to still roam that road looking for justice.
And there's that weird local legend about the road itself.
Right. Get this. People say if you stop your car at the bottom of 22 Mine Road and put it in neutral, it will actually roll uphill.
Uphill, seriously.
Seriously. Locals attribute it to Mamie's ghost, like she's physically pushing the car, trying to get attention, maybe push towards solving her own murder.
That's incredibly specific. We should also quickly mention the Silver Run Tunnel, right? Tunnel 19?
Yeah, on the North Bend Rail Trail, another persistent visual haunting. Since about 1910, train engineers reported seeing this young woman in a white dress standing on the tracks.
And she just vanishes.
Vanishes into thin air when they get close. The discovery of unidentified human bones near the tunnel later just deepens the mystery. Another forgotten, tragic death, it seems.
Okay, so we've covered institutions, war, curses, unsolved murders. Now for Category 4, which feels uniquely West Virginian. The cryptids. The really strange stuff.
Yeah, this is where the state's lore gets truly bizarre and famous. You absolutely have to start with the Mothman of Point Pleasant.
The legendary Mothman. Sightings started around 1966.
That's right. Described as this large, winged, humanoid creature, maybe 7 feet tall, with these huge, glowing red eyes. Terrifying descriptions.
And is forever linked to the Silver Bridge collapse, isn't it?
Intrinsically linked. The bridge collapsed just over a year after the main wave of sightings. In December 1967, killed 46 people. A horrific disaster.
So Mothman became seen as, what, an omen? A harbinger of doom?
Exactly. It elevated the creature beyond just a weird monster sighting into something almost prophetic, or maybe even connected to the cause. Plus, you had reports of those mysterious men in black snooping around Point Pleasant at the same time.
Right, adding that whole layer of conspiracy and maybe extraterrestrial involvement. It's no wonder Mothman is so iconic there. Statue, festival.
Absolutely. But Mothman wasn't even the first really high-profile, strange creature sighting. Back in 1952, you had the Braxton County Monster.
Also known as the Flatwoods Monster.
That's the one. Totally different kind of encounter. It started with witnesses seeing a pulsating ball of fire land on a nearby hilltop, like a UFO.
Okay, so UFO connection right off the bat.
Yeah. And when they went to investigate, they encountered this creature, over 7 feet tall, seemed to have a weird spade-shaped cowl or helmet over its head, and glowing eyes.
It's terrifying.
And apparently there was this pungent metallic mist that preceded it, made their eyes burn, and it let out this high-pitched hissing sound before kind of gliding away.
Wow, the sensory details there, the smell, the sound, the physical effect, make it seem very real, very immediate.
Exactly. It wasn't just something they saw, it was something they experienced physically. It just shows the sheer range of weirdness reported in West Virginia, from, a somewhat understandable institutional ghost to something completely alien and inexplicable.
It really cements the state's reputation as this focal point for all things paranormal. So when you look across this whole paranormal trail, all these stories we've touched on, you really see how West Virginia's unique combination of rugged geography and this history packed with intense, violent loss.
Frontier fights, the Civil War, those awful institutions, unsolved crimes.
It's all directly woven into the kinds of hauntings people report. The specific nature of the ghosts and creatures seems tied to the specific nature of the trauma.
That really is the big takeaway, isn't it? These stories, the ghosts, the curses, the cryptids, they're not just spooky campfire tales. One of our sources put it really well. They function as a kind of mechanism for memory.
A way to remember the hard parts.
Precisely. By telling these stories, generation after generation, society makes sure these tragic histories aren't just swept under the rug or forgotten. The lore reflects the real suffering embedded in the state's past. It keeps it alive, in a way.
You know, what I find almost paradoxically compelling, though, are the ghosts whose reported purpose seems almost mundane. Despite maybe dying tragically, they're stuck on earthly habits.
That's a fascinating point. It brings up questions about what drives the spirit, right? So, for our final thought for you to ponder, consider the historic Blennerhassett Hotel. Another stop on the trail. Plenty of classic hauntings, crying women, men in tuxedos.
Standard ghostly fare.
Right. But among them is a spirit referred to only as the stacking ghost.
The stacking ghost. What does it stack?
Well, according to reports, this ghost is apparently obsessed with tidiness. It's known for straightening up messy guest rooms, specifically organizing papers and items left scattered on desks.
A neat freak ghost.
Essentially, yeah. So, the question we'll leave you with is this. In a place filled with spirits potentially driven by centuries of tragedy, injustice, or terror, why would order, simple tidiness be the driving force for one particular ghost?
What deep-seated emotional need, what ingrained habit or desire for control from its living days makes a spirit spend its afterlife cleaning?
Something to think about.